It's up, man. It's work.
Hey!
Fuck's sake. So, do you know what?
Oh.
You know, like Occam's razor, right? So I've realized now that every time this has gone wrong, it's been me. So what I need to do is invite the two people straight off.
Okay, so before it even goes live?
Yeah, so I've got to go live, and then I've got to invite the two people at the same time. What I've done before is done it separately, and you can't go back from that.
No, because when I seen yours when you had that bot on the other week, that's the first time I've seen it where you've had two people on the screen at once.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and it cocked up at the start of that as well. Yeah. So
same thing.
No, you're not playing Lego.
It's all me, man. Right, okay. So we've got Gimson with us. The
Jimson.
kind of idea of this.
Jimson.
Jimson, sorry, man, and I know it. It's my nerves. It's my nerves. We talk in voice messages all the time, and I do it right, but
yeah.
So basically, we're going to go a bit freeform. I've got shitloads of questions for you.
Cool.
That I've written down, but I'm also going to be just cooking my tea at the same time.
What are you cooking?
So that's going to be a bit freeform as well, but it's loosely going to be a salad. I'm going to look just to see what ingredients around my house. Anything could go in it. And I'm going to try and do a satay sauce. So I had a mate round a couple of weeks ago, called a guy called Seren. And I made him lunch, and I did this satay chili sauce for him, and he was kind of raving over it. So
I reckon we just let the listeners choose. You give them an option, A or B. What do you want in it? Put it in.
We could do.
Just go from there.
I'm going to send it round to your house for you to eat it, though.
You have to eat it, no matter what goes in it.
Yeah, man. Right. So I'm going to kind of crack on with this, right? I'm going to start finding ingredients, but I think we should kind of kick off. You've kind of already introduced yourself, mate. We kind of done that before everything screwed up. We should probably introduce ourselves as well, I guess, for your listeners as well who've just joined.
Yeah.
So I might just pass that over to Carl to do that, where I go and find some random shit in my fridge to cook.
Yeah. All right, go for it. So I'm Carl, the guy above his team. We are from Humans to Hydra, pop, rock, I guess, band. And yeah, we're from South Wales, Cardiff, not far from Jimson. Started in lockdown, when we first went into lockdown. And that's where we're at. We're just trying to release music.
Yeah, man,
cool.
Thanks for that. I didn't hear any of that. You could have said we're kind of aliens from Mars.
And your reels, mate, I must compliment you on your reels. They're really good, man. You've got what Instagram is made for. You've kind of got that down to a T.
We're getting there. I feel like we haven't nailed it though. Like what we're posting on Instagram is the same as what we're posting on TikTok. Now on TikTok, we've got 20,000 followers in a week and a half.
Yeah.
And we're getting millions of views. Instagram,
it's hard, isn't it?
I can't work it out. Like,
do you know what? I haven't used TikTok. I've not been on there. Yeah, I haven't took the plunge on there. Do you know what? I've recently, the last couple of weeks, I've just laid back off of social media, completely. I haven't been on Facebook for a week. I've been doing the bare minimum on Instagram. Like for the last year and a half, it's just been so full on.
You've been on it, yeah. I think it's good to do. I think I'm at a point where I probably need a break from social media. I think it's good for mental health, right? Like
definitely, 100%. It's been relentless. Like the last year and a half. So it's like I got to one point I was doing one reel a day, one IGTV a day, one reel a day, and one main post a day every day, and that went on for about a month or two, and it was just
hard, man.
That was one of our questions for you, actually, mate, about social media. About, is it kind of a positive thing, or does it rot your brain, or is it somewhere in between?
It had been positive until I seen the signs sort of creep up maybe a week or so ago, and it's just like, oh, I can't face this. And I think if I'm feeling this now, if I don't do something to correct it and sort my head out, it's like I'm just gonna get myself into even more, and then it's just gonna be well, something's gonna break, and then I'm just gonna not be productive at all. So I think, I was thinking, right, what's the platform I'm using most? It's Instagram. So let's just like, and I feel bad because I'm supposed to be in the DKNBA group, like moderating it, and I was just like, can't handle it. My head's just like, so I've just eased off, and I'm like, right, give me a week or so or two, just like do the basics, try and figure out what's important. Because it's like what Damon always says, it's like, you don't have a time problem, you have a priority problem. And it's like, right. Just, yeah, it's just I mean, we've been doing the kitchen as well. So that has been like, I've been building the worktops out of scaffold planks. I can show you them if you want. So we've like sanded all this down and just built these out of like, out of scaffold planks, tongue-oiled it. So that's been going on, and it's like, and I'm not a builder, do you know what I mean? It's just like,
like Sean.
That take a day. Do you know what I mean? It's like 4 days later, I'm still on like the same thing. It's like, I bit off more than I can chew it. But yeah.
It's tough, man. Kitchens cost so much, don't they? If you pay someone to install a kitchen, it's like mental money. And my kind of brain just goes, oh, but I can do this myself. And then the time investment, you realize why people charge so much then sometimes.
That's what it is. You're paying for someone's time, not so much doing it. Because it's been pretty straightforward. We haven't done like anything hectic. Just put the floor down, redone the worktops and the units. But yeah, the plumbing, I ain't going loose on that. Do you know what? I used to be a window fitter many years ago, in my early 20s. I did that for 3 years. So I said, right, I can do, this is not in this kitchen, but like, I was like, yeah, I can do the silicone. Used to be great at it. And I'm not like thinking that it was like 15 years ago, the last time I held a silicone gun, it was just like, he was like, whoa, yeah, just butchered it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, definitely an art to that. So,
yeah, man, I can see a song coming about kitchen fitting, you know.
yeah, maybe not for me though.
That could happen, man. So the first choice, guys, which the AB choice. So we're making food here, and I've somehow agreed to this concept that Carl's come up with, where you guys get to choose what goes in. So the first option, I've got like this kind of mixed rocket salad, or I've got plain spinach. What do you reckon?
You or the people?
I think to you guys, but everyone can chip in if they really want to. See?
Spinach from me.
Spinach.
Yeah, Amy's gone for spinach. So the interesting thing, there's a fact about spinach that I'll share, right? So spinach is full, amongst other things, of L-tyrosine, which is good for grey hair.
Oh, mate, don't. I've got a line of grey coming through here, like just started in the last 2 weeks, and it's just lined all the way up there.
Oh, well, I'm going to...
Once they start, they just don't stop. Like, I mean, it's like, yeah, I think mine's just like, I'll be Santa in a couple of years, man.
So Badger's gone for Badger Phipps has gone for salad. It seems like an overwhelming majority for spinach. So we're going to go for that for our grey hairs, chaps, I think. So that's choice number one. Question for Carl. How tall do you think Jimson is?
I mean, he's a big man. Like, I'm going from pictures, but 6'3", 6'4".
You were close. But bang in the middle. 6'3.5".
Yeah.
192 centimeters. Yeah.
He's a big man.
Spot on.
I thought you were about 6'9". I thought you were like Tyson Fury like territory, man.
Do you know what? It's like, I don't ever realize how tall I am until I stand in pictures next to people. And as well, if I stand by someone who's taller than me, like I get really thrown off. Like if I'm too close to them, because I'm not used to people being taller than me. So when I do come across them, I'm like, ooh, this is a bit weird. And like I have to kind of like step back. I wouldn't say it's a phobia. It's just I kind of like get really like, ooh, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess it doesn't happen that often, right? So
yeah.
Cool, man. My next question was going to be, are you a certified giant? But you're not 6'9" like I thought you were, so I guess that's definitely a no then.
Nah, man, I'd be a wrestler, I think, if I was 6'9", or a basketball player.
Yeah. Cool. All right, man. So who have we got here? I think we should do some shout outs as well. So we've got Dad Bod in.
Hey.
We've got Sean Muir Music, the legend. We've got Brian Adams. I don't know if it's actually Brian Adams, the main man. It's obviously the main man, but not the main man, if you know what I mean. Taffy T is in the house. Badger Phipps. I feel like he's a Gimson fan.
Yeah.
Amy's in the house. Hannah Paddinks. That's an awesome name. I think that's it, man. Right, I'm going to go ahead and put this in. So, do you want to ask us any questions, man? Is there anything that you...
Yeah, so how long have you been making music, and what is your relationship? Like, I mean, like, how did you meet? Like, have you always made music together? Is it a recent thing?
No, it's been, I think it started 2006. I think my housemate was dating Hugh's housemate, and then I'd left the band with a friend, and he was looking for a band. We just joined. We started something called Mellow Goldmine with 2 other people. So it was like this pop electronic band, I guess. Pop electronic, I guess. Is that right? Euro pop, maybe a little bit sometimes. It's a bit shitty. It's good laugh though. We gigged a lot with it. Gigged all over the UK. Played with like Scout for Girls. Did really well on like the MySpace charts. And then I think we just got sick of it. It was literally just gig after gig after gig after gig, and there was no writing, there was no enjoyment. It just got repetitive. So took a long break. I was doing music. I joined a couple of bands. Hugh took a longer break, and then we just reconnected, sending each other some songs back and forth. And then lockdown hit, and we were like, let's just do something. Let's just put it out there. It was a bit of a hobby, and then.
So how do you feel, saying that what you said then about I'm getting sick of it with the gigs and whatnot? How do you now feel from your perspective of social media? And do you feel it's a bit the same as how you felt with the gigs, or are you happy?
Good question, man.
I think it's funny you talk about that. Like, I nearly didn't join today, so like my mental health right now, like not good, and a lot of it is social media and spending so much time on that. And I think like we've had a really good balance, and then all of a sudden, probably in the last month or two, like a lot has happened. Like all of a sudden, like people are asking us for things for the band, and it's being taken a bit more seriously, and it's becoming a little bit more than just a hobby. And then we've got the TikTok, which literally is like 20,000 people now, and it's just we've started its own thing. It's like turned into this community of like people who are like connected to autism, and it's huge. So that's taken up a lot of time. So I just found myself just staring at my phone all day, and I was just like, and today I hit a point. I was just like, I'm not in a good place.
Because man, like you were getting comments right pretty much it's probably an understatement to say you're getting one a minute.
Yeah, like tens of thousands, like just constant, which is great. Like it's done like this amazing thing. It's brought these people together, but it's new. And I'm like, like, I need to take a step back to say, like, what are the priorities? How do I balance? It's all about balance, right? Like,
it's not even trivial stuff about music. It's stuff that's really important to people's lives as well, right? It's
and that's it. It's like, especially if you're like you say, if you're standing for something that is meaningful and important like that, it can't be like a quick thanks, thumbs up, fucking prayer emoji. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
and I hit this point. I was like, I have to reply to everybody, and then I realized that like I can't reply to everybody. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
But then I feel bad because I'm replying to one person and I'm not replying to the other. It's just like, but for my sake, I need to take a step back, evaluate what it is we're doing, what we want to achieve, and go from there.
Yeah, it's because there's a big thing to say team as well, isn't it? And it's like, you can't have a team straight away. It's like the team comes over time. And like for independent musicians, and at the beginning, it's so relentless because you're just doing everything yourself. And I mean, like literally, I do everything like myself. Like, and it's just like so full. I mean, lucky. So as an occupation, I'm a train driver.
Oh wow!
So I work 49% of the year. So we got a good run at it, man. So it's like we work. It's just like a 4-day week, and we get 32 days leave. So the time off I get is good, because I don't think if I was working like a regular 9 to 5, like I think, how would I fit it all in? And I was saying to my missus earlier, I was like, I've come back into it and like took it more seriously than I ever have. Probably like not the hardest, like, but it's definitely challenging when you've got two small kids and like it's just like there's just so much going on. It's like, but at the same point, because I took 4 years out myself. It's like sort of like 2016, and I took 4 years out like after Carvel was born. I was just like, I couldn't handle it, man. Like my mental health really took a beating, and I was going out a lot as well, and it was just like, nah. So I come offline, took everything offline, and it was just like, I was still making music, like sort of like in the background, but yeah, I had like 4 years, and like in those 4 years, just done a whole like I'm almost like a different person from now to then. Like in those 4 years, like my diet, exercise, everything. Like you mean just like like meditation, journaling. Just found all these tools to just really. And the thing is, recently, like before last week, I would then start skipping some of these things to make sure I was getting some of the stuff done on the to-do list. The music is like, whoa,
Yeah,
these things
that's
are
what I've been
non-negotiable.
doing.
What the fuck are you doing? Do you mean like you meditate like that? That is fucking important. Like the music, you can make music, it can come. Like half these things aren't important. It's like, oh, I haven't done enough posts for fucking Instagram. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, and then it's yeah. You need to look after your fucking mental health, man. It's because it is. It's just like because me and Roscoe have started a podcast as well, and we've got Sai from Mind That Music on, and he runs a charity up in Liverpool, and the charity is called Mind That Music, and what they run music workshops for people suffering with a whole array of mental health issues. He says amazing. So at one point he said like he'd go there, he'd be at the hospital, and the nurses would be like, "Oh my God, how did you do that? Like that guy hasn't said anything for like to anyone for like years." I mean, and some bloke on the microphone just like rapping with him. He's like, "Well, that bloke, he hadn't got off the mic." I mean, he's like, "Had this music is this like super powerful healing tool," and it really is. But then it's like the stuff that comes with it. I said that part of it is, and then it's like the putting it out there, and that is where it's the double-edged sword of it. Do you know what I mean? Because music does have so much power and so healing. And you look at hymns and stuff. You look at like gospel choirs and stuff, and the power, or even at rugby stadiums and shit, the power of all these people singing in unison. Do you know what I mean? It's like, everyone's there, and it's just so powerful, and it's just everyone's singing in song, and it's something we've done. Imagine like tribal warriors beating the thing. As music, like it's so powerful. Like no matter what the scenario, music's just like. But then like, it shouldn't have the toll of like bringing us down to being like. Do you mean? It's that balance. It's that balance, man.
It's like it becomes like a paradox. I think sometimes like you can. When you're doing all those things you talked about, you know, all those things positive for your health, you know, I definitely feel like when I'm doing that, the music writing is better, and you're doing all that stuff, and then it's like you've got this product then, haven't you? You know, after you've got songs, and one side of you is like, well, we've had the enjoyment from it, you know, we've recorded it, we can play it to people, but then there's this release thing, and at the same time, as you know, it'll be like being on social media and stuff is quite unhealthy. There's some aspect that just makes you want to get it out to people so they can enjoy it, and this frustration, I think, that comes with that as well.
It is, because as humans, it's like we all say, like, even though we do it for the love of making music, like, we all want validation. We all want to be loved.
Yeah.
Do you mean? Like, we put a lot of time and work into that. Do you mean? It's like we like, and that's why I think that just the whole power of like negative comments. It's like you see people, and it's like I've seen posts that people put up, and they've had like 50 to 100 like amazing comments, and they've got one bad one that stood out, and they haven't replied to anyone apart from the bad one, and they've like bitten. People are like ignore that. Like you've just got like 90 to 100 like beautiful comments like from them, but it's not. As humans, we're like, oh, what's he said? Do you know what I mean? And it's like that as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like bearing your soul to the world to be judged, and yeah, it can be tough, man. It really can be tough.
Amy is saying that she likes your ceiling there, man. So we can kind of see what's going on.
Right. So this room, basically what we did, we just painted it white. We're like, fuck it, should we just like flick loads of multicolored paint around it? So we did. Me and my missus. My son, he didn't want to play ball, but we were going to get him to put like handprints, multicolored handprints, going out to the light switch, but he didn't bother. He wouldn't. So we just literally stood in there one day on a Saturday, got a load of like tester pots from down at home base, and just was like, just like flicked paint all around the room, and then just like painted that one grey, and put the elephant on, man.
It looks awesome, man.
Awesome.
It must have been so much fun as well.
Yeah, it was a good laugh. It was really good.
Does anyone have any questions in the comments at all? We're also open to that, because this is more or less completely freeform, apart from what I've got written down on this piece of paper here, I think. So we've got from Badger: ignore the haters, focus on the winners. Winners focus on winning, man. That's good.
Exactly. It's I wrote a lyric. Was it yesterday or today? It's like kind of on that subject. Like the track's called "Company You Keep." I think it's gonna be called that. I might change the title of it, but it's yeah, about that. Of like, even with yourself, what company are you to yourself? Like, do you mean it's like, are we good company for ourselves? Like, are we the company that we'd want to be in the world? Do you know what I mean? It's
That's a good question.
It's, do you mean, because it's the whole lead by example thing, in it, but it's
Do you have any philosophies that you sort of live by, like listening to your music? And I mean, yeah, I've been talking to you for quite a while now, but it feels like you do. It feels like you do have some kind of philosophy or guiding kind of.
So I was asked what my personal meaning of life is, and I said it was to create. No matter what it is I'm doing, whether I'm creating a dish, whether I'm creating a song, whether I'm creating babies, and to me it's just to create and to focus on that, and to cherish the creations, because the creations are the things like that live on or will live on. It's like just to follow that and be the most creative, because we're all creative. And some people say they're not creative. It's like, you're a human.
Yeah.
You're creative. Do you mean? It's like some people, I think people are too quick to be like, oh, you're creative because you make music, or you're creative. It's like, well, no, you're creative. Look at your t-shirt. Look at your trousers. Look at those shoes. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you chose them, you picked them. That's like your creative touch on how you present yourself to the world. So I think, we're definitely a lot more creative than people think, even the people that think they aren't creative.
It's cool, man. It's like a little bit about legacy as well, then.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice to sort of like leave, well, at least for the people that may remember you, and if you can be big enough to like leave something beyond that, it'd be amazing. But like, yeah, just like it's like the whole thing of like being not comfortable with death, because you never really know how you're gonna react with death, do you? Like when you're dying. But it's like when you do die, what would you want your eulogy to sound like? So, yeah. Like how would you what would you want people to say at your eulogy? How can you imagine that sounding? It's just and it's, I think as well, like I've changed a lot over the time. I'm very open-minded as well. So it's like I'm never like fixed on one belief system. So I can develop, I can learn. It's like, oh, maybe I don't want to feel that way about that anymore because someone's giving me some new information. So I'm very good with my ideas as well. So it's I think the me you're talking to now would be a lot different to the me, 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, like why be rigid, right? It's a fool who doesn't change their mind, I think.
Exactly. And I find that a lot in like institutions and stuff, like even like science, whether it's science or religion or whatever, they're like very rigid. Like with science, like say the fringes of science and mainstream science, like, oh no, I don't want to talk about that because they'll kind of like get pushed out and they only want to stick to like sort of ideas, which is like, let's not try and like rock that too much because it will make this like perfectly formed like script that we have already, or like throw that in. So now let's not change it too much because it would just blow everything that we've done. And it's like,
I hate
the whole
that,
point
man.
of it is to like explore and create. And it's the same with religion. It's like the rigidness of like think this, think that. And I've had it really bad with like my son going to school, or like, and my missus as well. So I look at it, it's like they just like wrench like a dirty rag all of like that amazing humanness in them. It's like, it's like, sit here, this is your spelling test for today, and it's like, do you know what I mean? It's like you're sitting 30 kids in a class and painting them all with the same brush. It's like you will all learn the same way. It's like, really? It's like what's his face? The is it Ken Robinson, the education guy? He's got like the most watched TED talk in the world, I think.
Okay.
And like he does a lot on like ADHD and stuff. And it's like, look, there's nothing wrong with like, there's nothing wrong with it. Like they're just being taught wrong. Like, I mean, it's just like, it's just the wrong way of learning. You're putting a kid in an environment who doesn't learn that way. Of course, they're
Yeah.
going to act up. Like, I mean, it's like they're not getting it. Some people have to be very hands-on and
Rick Beato, don't know if do you know the YouTuber Rick Beato, the music guy? He's been through the same thing, and he kind of didn't do very well in school and stuff. But as soon as he found that thing that he was interested in and the way of learning that worked for him, he just flew,
Yeah, it is. It's they say a great teacher can adapt themselves to the student. Do you know what I mean? They know how the student learns, and it's like because it's not one hat fits all. Do you know what I mean? It's
We've got some questions here, chaps, coming in. So we've got a question from Claire XO. Are you all from the same area?
No, well, don't know. If you're from America, you'd like we'd basically be in the same city. But in the UK, like it's about an hour probably in it. It's an hour on a train. About an hour driving as well, probably in it. Cardiff to Bath, Cardiff Bristol. About an hour, do you reckon?
Yeah, about an hour in it.
Yeah,
something like that, man. I love it in Bath.
Me and Hugh are from Cardiff, and then Jimson's in Bath. So it's not far.
It's not far. I remember speaking to someone once in America, and they were saying, like, so how far from London are you? I was like, oh, quite far from London. Tell them you're like an hour and 40 minutes on the train. They're like,
no,
that's not far. I commute that to work. It's like
basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Right, man. I was gonna ask you about one of your tracks called "F It, Man."
Yeah.
And I mean, the lyrics are absolutely outstanding in this song as well. But I just wanted to see what's going on there. Like, who you speaking to in that song,
Majority of my songs, I'm speaking to myself, in some way, shape, or form, or an aspect of me. Usually. I'm trying to remember what the lyrics are for that song now, because that's a feature on a Crackerjack song. Put 'em up, escaping the rut, the knife in your gut. Were you successful enough? So yeah, that. I can't.
There seems to be a lot about money as well. There seems to be like you're talking a lot about like cash flow, money, progression of the capitalist dream, things like that.
I can't remember my lyrics.
It's all right, man.
Have you got them there?
I haven't, man.
No.
I listened to it today.
Yeah, so that one, I think, is the one where I'm like, it's the one where I talk about Jenny going to the forest to do ayahuasca, right?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, that's when it's like life's a bunch of crack rocks. Said Jenny to the forest. His mother ayahuasca promised her she'd get her off it. I wish the best of luck to her and anyone else escaping from the sewer. Yeah, so it's obviously that's taken from Forrest Gump. The life's a box of chocolates, but life's a box of crack rocks. And it's just, I think the idea from it was like trying to better yourself no matter what you're doing, whether it's you're trying to get off a hard drug or whether you're, I don't know, trying to like be something successful in business or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? It's coming from whatever place you're from. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just keep going. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like the small steps of just trying to achieve something is the basic gist of it. Success and what is personal. Again, it's what is personal success as well. Like, do you know what I mean? It's because success is definitely not. I don't think success is money and stuff like that. I mean,
it's subjective, right? Like success
yeah.
is different for you, for me, for you. Like
yeah, exactly. And it's we've all got our own individual goals, our own individual paths. But I do generally find like when you talk to people like success, it's never usually the material, the money. I mean, it can be. That can be like a byproduct of it. But I think anyone you really speak to, their true success is something a lot more deep rooted and meaningful than that. Do you know what I mean? It's like always the happiness or the something that comes before that. And I was talking to my jiu-jitsu professor was saying to me the other day, he was talking about something he said, when someone was quizzed about what did they want from their jiu-jitsu school. Yeah, I can't some astronomical amount of money that he wanted to earn each month or whatever. And like he said, like all these other black belts and him just looked at this guy because this guy was a purple belt who was running the gym. And I just kind of looked at him like, what? Like, your answer should have been something along the lines of to be like a black belt and like provide the best I can and be like, I mean, it's like, are you in it for the right reason? Is it for the wrong reason? But yeah.
The money could be about something else then, couldn't it though? The money could be about, I need X thousand pounds a month because then I can spend more time with my son, you know?
Yeah, of course.
But I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, it's perspective, innit? Like you say, everyone has their own goals, and yeah, the best of luck to anyone. Best of luck to anyone who's actually doing something and taking action. Do you know what I mean?
Because for sure, man.
No matter where you are, like, do you know what I mean?
Apart from if you're a dictator trying to, like, you know, kind of invade a country or something, right?
I was listening to Jordan Peterson earlier, and he was talking about the difference between greatness and power. And they were saying, like, when a leader has ruling by power, they become corrupted. And power is just a mimic of greatness. But the trouble with power is power can then, if you rule with power, you'll do anything to keep that. Where if you rule with greatness, you will let that go for the greater cause. It was really interesting. And he said that a lot of times it's hard to differentiate from someone powerful and someone great, because some people who are powerful can really mimic the greatness and follow and copy. But yeah.
Absolutely, man.
So yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely. We don't like tyrants and we don't like dictators.
So Amy has invited you down to Cardiff.
Love to.
I presumably she means to yours and Carl's house. Otherwise, she's invited you down to stay with me. That would be quite weird. but you're welcome here as well.
Yeah, I've I've been to Cardiff for a long time. Yeah, last time I went, what was the last time I went there for? I don't know. Yeah, it's been a while. Saying that, I haven't been anywhere for ages. We haven't been
anywhere, have we? Jesus. Yeah, man. Once everything opens up, like, we'll have to do it. Like, even just, we went out for lunch the other day with Jump and Turner and John Seaton, and it's just, even that was just nice to get out and just see, like, people that went on Zoom.
Do you know what? When I go out now and I like talk to people, I'm just like this, like real excitement. Like, I got just so much to talk about. But yeah, John came down to Bath because we did. They've got the track coming out end of this month. Is it 29th for me? 24th for me. So yeah, he comes down to Bath.
Is that one of John's tracks that he's releasing, or is that one of yours, or is that?
It's his. So it's a part of his 12-month thing. So it's on his 12-month. With 12 different producers, but it's being put out as me and him rather than him featuring me.
Right.
So it's like sort of like the drum beat is UK garage vibes, like a two-step beat. So he sent over a guitar loop with his vocals just on the hook. So he's just on the hook on it, and then he said, "I want to do a track." Funnily enough, is what we were talking about earlier about the track's called Dopamine, and it's about being addicted to technology. The dopamine hits. So that's what the song's about. And yes, he sent that over. I wrote 2 verses, come up with a drum beat, and I was going to put a drill bass line on it, but it just really didn't work. And I sent it back with that, and he said, then he put the bass on. So he put the bass and guitar, I put the drums on, and then 2 verses on it. He come down to Bath, we recorded that. We've done like a really nice acoustic session because he was on about coming down. And I don't know if you've seen the thing that I did at the Cave Studio going back last year, which was
we saw him. Yeah.
So he come down and I said, "Oh, do you know what? If you're coming here, why don't we just go to the Cave? It's a cool venue." So the Cave is like under the tunnels in Bath, and it's like, that's what they call it, the Cave, because it's like underground and it's got like all the raw brickwork underneath. And it's just like all the buskers in Bath like store their instruments there. Rather than have to lug it home with them, they just pay like 30 quid a month there, and then he just stores it. So it's like a proper like hub of like buskers.
That is awesome, man. I hate lugging equipment, but it's absolutely shit.
Yeah. So it's it's like that kind of vibe down there, real community spirit in there. It's and it was a really nice place. So yeah, we went in there and recorded it, and yeah, it was fun, man.
Because you sang on the remix of John's track, "The Ghost," right, as well.
Ghost. That's how me and John met. So John put up a post. He said he was actually getting a techno remix of it done. And he said someone's let him down for a techno remix. So I said, well, I can rap, and he didn't know him, and he was like, send me your stuff. And then he said, he's like, yeah, cool on it. And it's so then he sent it over and I sent him a verse back in about like a week later, I think it was.
You were quick, man. You're like bafflingly quick.
Yeah, so I do like writing. I do generally write too fast. So I did my 100 days of like daily bars, which started mid-December. It actually started at the beginning of the year, so it started like 16th of December, I think it was. And initially, it was to document writing and to hold myself accountable to write every day. It's like because the whole thing of like if you write every day, you'll get better.
Absolutely.
But I don't think I don't know if I did or not. Actually, like and it wasn't the writing part of it. It was the part of because I was doing it every day and documenting it and uploading it and recording it. It just got relentless. It was like the same thing. It was just churning something out every day. And like by the end of it, I was like, oh, do you know what? Like this is just not fun. So the first 50 days were me just sat there and I'd do a time lapse thing, and it would like I'd set a timer for a half hour, and like I'd write, and then I'd like just basically talk to the camera what I'd written. And it would just get like no engagement, and I was like, "Oh, this is dull." Like, do you know what I mean? Like, let's spice it up. Why am I doing this? Why not I just write it and then just do the video of me just performing it over the beat that I've written it to? So then I did that for the second 50, but then like I was just like, when it was coming towards the end, I was like, "Oh, I just want this to finish now." Like, do you mean it was just like I was uploading this thing every day, and I think as well it didn't help because it wasn't getting a lot of engagement, and like the videos were like getting like. On YouTube, they were getting like between 2 and 10 views. And it was just not, I guess, not interesting content. And I was like, do you know what I mean? It's like you're doing this, and it's like the effort of like recording it and doing the video, and it's just like all this effort for something that's just like no one wants. Like, well,
I feel like from this line of conversation, so one of the sort of topics that we advertised this live stream on was songwriting tips as well. So I feel like we're getting down a little bit into that avenue. So I think we should go into that. So
somebody did just ask, when it comes to writing a song, what inspires you?
We go.
So I can write to concepts. Usually if it's a feature. So if someone sends me a track and like I've got the concept there, then I can write to it. With that, I tend to sit with those ones for a little bit longer. Well, it's not always actually. Sometimes it comes in. Like when I listened to your Colossal track, like I really liked the track. And because you just sent it over on Spotify, and like I think it was the next day when I didn't listen to it the day before, I don't think, and I was like, oh shit, I've got to listen to that song. Like I think I was listening to it on the Saturday morning, and I think you had about like maybe 20 or more streams from me that morning on Spotify.
You just did it.
Because I wrote my lyrics to it that morning using the Spotify version. So it's like repeat. And I kept looping the song back, and I was like, and just wrote it that morning. And that one came quick because I really liked your message in the song, and I really liked how you took it. So I was like, oh yeah, and that one just come to me. But when I'm writing my own stuff, I don't generally plan a concept. I write a line and see where it goes.
That's good, man. So it's sort of like, do you feel like your songs are better when you kind of explore your subconscious?
Yeah, definitely. Loads better. Like some of the best songs. And when I'm half asleep as well.
Yeah.
I write it. Like, do you mean it's like, or like, have you ever done it where you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like,
so many voice notes on my phone of me like
back down.
Voice notes on my phone in the like middle of the night, just like
yeah,
all the time. All the time. I listen back to half of them. I'm like, what was that? Like, what was I trying to say?
Yeah, it's but do you mean that now? It's great because it's like, imagine like being like a writer like years ago when they didn't have phones and stuff. And this is where like the good side of technology comes in, because it's not all bad. And it's like you're there on the spot, and then it's like, oh shit, that's like great, because it's like comes to your head, bang, in the phone, straight away. So yeah, I find like definitely exploring the subconscious a lot more. Like I've got like some of the lyrics. I remember having a conversation with someone once, and I said, what about the people that won't get what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of the stuff will go over people's heads, because a lot of my lyrics can be quite like, deep, with like meanings on meanings. And it's like, and then like the person sees, they were like, don't worry about them. The people will take from it what they need to take from it. And it's like, oh yeah, do you know what I mean? But like, there's always like, everything I write has a meaning. Do you know what I mean? It's like, me and Roscoe are work. So Roscoe is a good friend of mine. We've known each other since like first school, like forever. And we started making music together in like sort of like what 2005, 2006, and then we always have done basically. And I forgot where I was going now. Roscoe, where did the conversation go on to him? Fucking lost my train of thought.
We're talking songwriting, right? And then
songwriting. Oh fuck, I've lost it.
God, you've gone into your subconscious now, mate.
Oh yeah, that was it. Subconscious. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone.
Gone.
It's gone.
Yeah, mate. Because I feel like our kind of approaches are very different as people. So I mean, I don't even know if we have a process as such, Carl, but I would say it's more tends to be like melody and stuff first, whereas you're more lyrics first.
Yeah. So you could argue that mine's more poetry, I guess, than put to music afterwards.
I think what we kind of like write to moments, right? Like the songs we put out so far, like Glimpse was about birth, Colossal was about that rebirth, and like coming through, and like the new tracks of like the stages before that. We're trying to write like through moments in life, I guess.
Yeah. So do you write them together?
It's kind of mixed. I think initially, like, we'll both throw ideas out to each other, and he'll come up with some ideas, throw them out to me. I think he was like further ahead of me in terms of recording and stuff, so I'm just learning how to record. So I have these ideas in my head, and I just can't get them out. That's the problem. I don't know how to get them out, so I'm learning how to do that, so I can get these ideas over to him and say, like, this is what I'm trying to think, and that's helping a lot. I guess it's weird because like we're writing and recording like via Zoom and via WhatsApp and via phone. We're not in the room together. Like, we've never been in a room writing at that point. Like, years ago we did kind of, but yeah, now it's just voice messages over WhatsApp.
Yeah. Do you know, have you ever been
20-30 takes going higher?
Yeah. Have you ever been in the studio with someone? It's like when someone like who doesn't like know any of the mixing side of the things, and they're trying to tell you that they want more compression, but they're like using all these like way out their words to describe what they want. And it's like, what are you going on about? It's like all they wanted was like a bit more compression on the vocals. Like, but yeah,
that's probably me with you. Like, he's very technical on that side. Yeah, I'm just like, I just go with it and just see what happens. I'm like trying to explain what I need, and it's something really simple. Or I'm like trying to hum it to him, like in WhatsApp. I'm like, no.
Do you know? So the projects I've been doing with Recco, because Recco's a bit like that. So Recco doesn't do anything. He just raps. So he was one I've done the Gunhearted track with, Rise Up, and he like sent me a message like saying what he wanted, and like it was just like way out there, like what he was saying. So I was like, okay, so you want delay on the vocal and this? He's like, yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what though? Like, with all the technical shit, at the end of the day, if it sounds good, it's good, right?
Exactly.
And if you can hear it, okay, you need to know a bit about how to get there and shit. But for the most part, it's about having the ear to know whether it sounds good or not.
That's it. What they say, it's like we can have all these tools, but if you don't have, I mean, your ears will never lie at the end of the day. So it's I remember listening to a Noah 40 Shabib interview. He's the guy who produces all the Drake stuff. And he was saying in an interview, when they made, I can't remember what the song was called, was it Headlines or something like that? It's one of his big songs, like early songs. And he was saying about when he was mixing this song, and he was like always told, never ever digitally clip. Like you mentioned, just analog clipping was a thing when they used to analog mix and you could clip to get loud or whatever. But everyone's like, don't do it digitally, it's so bad. And he said he was mixing this track and he was just like cranking the strings so hard that they were like digitally clipping. And he was like, but it sounds right. But like every like inch of him was like telling him, no, it's wrong, because everyone told me that it's wrong, but it sounded right. And he said he left it, and that track was like a fucking massive hit. So you're right. Do you know what I mean? It's like
you can be too safe, man. Like I feel like if you follow all these guidelines that you read about and shit, you can end up with a balanced mix, right, and all that shit. But it can just feel too safe, and it can feel like it can just end up sounding like everything else, because everyone's trying to get this this balance. And don't get me wrong, things can sound really shit as well if you have no idea what you're doing, but I think like people overemphasize like all this balancing stuff and whatever.
I think they do. It's because the well-polished mix doesn't what captures someone. The emotion and the meaning and like how it feels is what captures someone. And there's a guy on he's got a YouTube channel, it's Kush After Hours, his YouTube channel.
Yeah, man.
Do you watch him?
I love it, man. Yeah.
He's great, and he's like, one of the things that he said to like once to like really like resonated with me. It was like, you're mixing the track. Don't worry about your fucking snare drum. Like, no one is listening to your snare drum. Like, I mean, like, you could spend hours. It's like, forget your mixing. Listen to the whole thing. People listen to the song and they're going to take the whole song and they're not going to be listening to your snare drum. I mean, it's like, makes a lot of sense. Because, like, if I listen to someone else's song, I'm not going to be listening to all their, like, sort of, like, mixed perfections or imperfections. Yeah. It's going to be like does it catch my ear initially?
Sorry,
go on.
No, I was saying, like, Colossal, like...
Go on, you go.
Right, Colossal, we put a lot of time like into Colossal from where it first started to where it ended. It took a long time to get there, and there was a lot of detail went into it, and so happy with the finished product. And like we've like just written, like not written, but we recorded like an acoustic version of it, like really stripped back piano, and it took us hardly any time to record, but the fucking emotion in it, and it's so raw. And it's just captured what the song was about, like without all the extra stuff, all the effort that we put into it. It's just fucking piano and vocals.
Yeah.
And, like, I literally listened to it and I was like in tears. Like fucking, I was like, we spent all that time like on this. And don't get me wrong, like fucking love it, like the original Colossal, but like it just this stripped version is just takes it to a different level. Like it's just something new completely.
It's ironic, isn't it? Because it's kind of closer probably to how it even started out before we even started trying to produce it.
Yeah.
That's a question there. Like again, Rock Chick has asked, which is like ties in. Is it hard to know when a song is finished? As when you first write a song, there might be a small things you want to change there, here and there. It is hard. There's always that point where we're like, we've got to say finish. We can just keep going and keep going. I'll change this bit, this bit. And I think we're probably me and Hugh are definitely getting better at that. And like saying, you know what, like that's okay. Like
I think it's more harder now than like the olden days. When people were limited to like 4-track and a tape or whatever. Like, you mean, it's like, well, no, you've got this much space. Like, record it, get it right, get it out. Where now you've got like endless tracks in the door where you can just like, no, like undo, do again. And it's like, you've got like so much choice. It's like trying to watch Netflix. There you go. There's your reel again. Look, like, do you mean like, what should we watch? Like, do you mean, like, no, what do you want to watch? Like, do you mean, and you're sat there scrolling for Netflix. It can be the same thing. Or like, do you mean you've got so much choice and so many things you can do? It's like,
yeah, man, you've got like plugins, you've got Splice, right? With all these samples. It's just like, what next? Beats, you know. And
you can be sat there for hours. I mean, but, I've been since I've been back making music since or releasing music, should I say, since the beginning of last year. I've really tried to have the emphasis of like just getting it out. For over the years, like there's so many good tracks. Well, what would have been good at the time, like which don't really resonate or sit well with me. Like now, I wouldn't want to put that out as me now. But if I put that out as me then, it would have been good for the time. And it's like, where you're like, oh no, do you know what I mean? It's like, you don't do it. It's like, no, just like, now I'm just like, I just need to like get it out. Do you know what I mean? Because
me and Hugh need to get better at that. Me and Hugh both need to get better at that. Like we're writing stuff and we just, it's nowhere near ready. We spend a long time and stuff, but we've got great ideas. And I think like, we're probably going to start putting a little bit more acoustic stuff out there, a little bit more stripped back and testing it. And then,
I'm looking forward to hearing your Colossal one, man.
Oh man, honestly, like fuck, it's so good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that because I really like that raw stripped back vibe, man. It's like
why do people? It's funny, isn't it? That this thing, isn't it, in the music industry where people put out a fully produced track and then do the stripped back version. Like why not switch it around? So like release a stripped back version and then go, okay, you know, what can we do with this? Or, you know, is this just the version, you know?
Yeah. Because I started like trying to teach myself piano properly, like, cause I'm not, I need to get more strict on it. And guitar, because like, I think that would just like, I've got it there. And I just like, again, it's adding like everything else onto it, innit? Like how many other things you can do in a day. But like, I think that as well, like, cause I think it suits like the stuff I'm doing, it suits more. Like I can adapt to that world a lot more than sort of like conventional hip hop, maybe. Like, do you mean where like the depth of the lyrics and stuff like can really move, and just like something simple about it, just like a guitar. Like I don't know if you know the early Plan B type stuff. Like we just had that guitar and he was rapping. It's like, oh, who's this guy? Like, do you know what I mean? It's just like it is just the raw emotion just catches you. Like, do you know what I mean?
It is, man. There's something about like this recent experience we have that I think has completely changed the way we're going to think about that now. Thanks, Amy. We appreciate that, and yeah, I think we should start that trend. So Carl doesn't know, but we're kind of going through this right now. We're writing a track that was about courage, and all these people have started messaging Carl on TikTok when he put up his posts about autism awareness and with his son in it, and we're kind of writing that track, and it feels like a bit of a responsibility for us now, because it's about those people's stories, but
it's like really amazing, wasn't it? Like we put this post up and everybody just started sharing their stories. Like we're so fucking open about them and their kids, these parents, like what we're going through. And it was so fucking raw, and it just like this inspired us to write about like these parents, because it's fucking hard. Like,
but what's
I can joke around it and I can put as many funny posts up, but it is fucking hard. Like no matter what you say.
But and do you know what's weird? And you don't know this, right? So I was trying to work in this idea that we have about that, and I ended up coming up with this other thing that's about feeling overwhelmed about trying to do that. So it's kind of niche down a level deeper. And I haven't been able to progress that idea, but something completely different has come out of it that's got nothing to do with it. Which is probably a bad thing. I should be trying to work to the thing that we're trying.
Is it?
Give me a route if you want.
Do you feel like that there's a lot of pressure on you for this one then?
I think with how well Colossal's done and how well it's been received, there is that. I just think there is that pressure. It just naturally comes in it, and I think we need to try and ignore that a little bit and just just put out what we're happy with and be comfortable with what we're putting out, and stop thinking about like you've got to think about other people, right? Like but because you want people to listen to the music, but like let's be comfortable with what we're putting out. Let us be happy with it and be proud of it. And that comes across when it's it's natural and you're proud of something and you're so happy with it. Like because it reminds me, back in 2014 I released a song called Oh Daddy, and like the track, that one's quite hard hitting. It's like about an alcoholic dad.
Love that track, man.
Yes, so that one I ended up like doing a lot of stuff with NACOA after that, which is National Association for Children of Alcoholics, who are based in Bristol. And I put that track out, and like I almost felt like I had this like air of responsibility with my music afterwards, and like put like all this like unwarranted pressure on myself, which didn't need to be there, that I had to like, and it's like, and it was kind of like a bit of a trip. So I kind of get like sort of like what you're saying with the pressure you may be feeling for something that is a deeper and an important thing.
I think that's probably what's happened with the TikTok, isn't it? Like it started as like a funny thing and just just sharing a story, and it just grew into this thing, like a community, And like now I feel like this responsibility, like we brought all these people together, sharing these stories and these ideas, and it's crazy.
It's not normal though, is it, man?
A lot of satisfaction from it. Don't get me wrong. Like it's amazing. Just got to get that balance right.
Do you feel though like TikTok is amazing, right, and everything, but do you feel like in a way it's just not normal to go from like 200 people to 20,000 in a week, is it?
In a week,
like that's how mad that thing is.
Are you finding many transferring or going over from TikTok to the music as well?
We're starting to, and what we don't want to do is just we do like we were talking about this and how we get that right, because at the end of the day it is still it's us, it's our music. That's what the page was about, and that's what it was started. And we just decided to start sharing more of our personal lives, not realizing people were just going to connect as well as they did. And we'll still do that, but we have started kind of introducing the music, and we've said we've put posts up saying, look, all the new people have joined. This is a band page, and you will see music in between all these posts and stuff. And it is starting to. People are listening, and they're saying amazing. And I think a lot of our stuff, especially Colossal, like it's connected to that. Like making those huge steps. Like with my son, like he's amazing, like this amazing little kid who's like constantly told he's never gonna do shit, he's never gonna do this, never gonna do that.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Like I'll do what the fuck I want, you know?
Yeah,
it all connects. And
my cousin Kitty, she's got autism, and she's just got into like a really good school in London. Like and yeah, I mean, my auntie and uncle Barney and Maggie, they've like really worked like hard with her like over the years. And what's Kitty now? She must be she's got to be about 16 now, I think. But like because the way they live in Liverpool, I don't see them that often, but like they do like a bit like my nan's on my dad's side for like Christmas or whatever. And I just like the things she comes out with. It's just like this like brutal honesty of just like whatever's on the brain. It's just like yeah, she's golden. Like, do you know what I mean? It's yeah.
Are you on TikTok, Jimson?
I'm not, mate. No, I'm not. I've like,
dude, you were made. I think you were like made for TikTok. You know,
get on there.
Yeah.
Do you know, like a month ago, we were like, I'm too old for TikTok. I'm not posting anything, and then all of a fucking sudden.
I remember speaking to Dad Bod ages ago, and we were talking about it, and I was like, let me know how you get on, man, because I know he was doing his whole like Malik thing with the thing, and he's got his sketch thing going on. I'm like, and I was thinking, well, what do I do? What do I talk about on there? Like, do you mean? And I've really, at the moment, we've recorded 4 episodes the other day of the podcast. We've got the Jimson and Roscoe show, which is going out every Monday, and they're an hour long. But I've like really been enjoying like the long form conversations. It's basically what I've been doing with you here, and they've been received really well compared to like, do you mean they haven't performed like the last like couple of music videos I've done, and it's just us talking for like an hour. Do you know what I mean?
Are they on YouTube? Are they available on?
Yeah, they're on YouTube and they're on Spotify. I'm having a bit of issue with Apple at the moment. They're saying I haven't put the copyright field in because you've got to do it via an RSS feed, and that. I haven't put the copyright field in, and I haven't got the artwork. But I have, because Spotify have accepted it. So I've got a ticket in with Apple, so I'm just waiting for them. But yeah, it'll be Apple, Spotify, and...
I'm going to get on it, man. That's the kind of thing I'd listen to, you know, while I'm exercising or something.
Yeah,
and I've got like, I built a sauna here in my garden. And
nice.
I've always either got an audio book on or a podcast.
So you built that yourself? The sauna.
So it's part of it. I also got like a carpenter involved, man. Because so yeah, it's a bit of a half and half, but yeah.
So if you got a gym at home, or do you go to a gym? Because I know you like to keep.
Yeah, got some stuff in the garage. Yeah, so a lockdown. I've got to be honest. It was a pretty good situation, and at least in terms of that, you know.
Yeah.
Pop out there and you know, at least relax for a bit, but. Yeah, it was tough, man. You know, aside from that, it was a way of kind of getting rid of some of the stress of doing like simultaneous childcare and work at the same time.
Yeah, do you know what we had? The school rang us, and they said so there was this thing called Seesaw, which is like the app you upload the work. And the teacher rang us, and she said, "Are you having trouble accessing Seesaw? Because we've seen you haven't done any work." I said, "I haven't done any." She's like, I'm completely shocked to the other on the phone. But it's like, my point, I was like, I don't like want like the stress in the household of like, I'm not a teacher. It's just like, everyone else is in the same situation.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't school. This isn't like, do you mean, it's like, you can learn through things, but like, I'm not going to like sit there and do this, do that. It's just.
Yeah. Trying to, it was one of those situations, wasn't it? It's like, you just feel like you're failing a little bit at everything.
Yeah.
That's how I felt, man.
Yeah, it was relentless. It really was, and it was the winter one definitely more than the last summer.
Yeah,
the last summer was right. It's like, whoa, a holiday. Yeah,
it was great, wasn't it?
So I mean, it's great. But it's like, yeah. Then the winter comes, it's like, this ain't so good. And then like, my son got addicted to TV, and it's like weaning him off that now. Because there's only so many things you can do around the house. It's like, well, all right, I guess we're watching TV again. Do you know what I mean? It's like the weather's miserable, like it's too cold outside or whatever, and it's like. So yeah, it's weaning them off the technology now, because it's definitely like we were talking about the technology being bad for us. It's like even worse for them. Do you know what I mean? It's
it is, man. I'm gonna ask you a couple of quick fire questions from my list, if that's okay. The cooking's gone to shit, so I'm not having any tea.
How's that spinach?
Have you cooked anything? You haven't cooked shit.
So I've got a plate of spinach. That's my tea at the moment.
delicious.
I'll get on to that in a second, but I just want to ask, Jimson, on a couple of your latest tunes, this definitely feels like there's a bit of a jazz influence in there.
Yes,
actually, there's something that's just it's really kind of drawing me in.
So, Hypocritical Freddy, that was produced by Roscoe, and he sent it over with the sample, and I was just going to do it over the sample, and it was only like a quick minute thing, whilst I was just doing other stuff in the background. So I've got multiple projects going on, which is one of the other reasons why I'm probably like so like. So that one, he sent over the sample, but then I was like, I got an email from some publishing company here in the UK. From 2013, I used an uncleared sample on a track I did called Scorcher, and he said they wanted $2,000 up front for the master, $2,000 up front for something else, and half of all the revenue, like all the royalties on it.
Shit.
And that song made 36 cents today. So I just took it down. I haven't heard anything since. Like I just pulled it off everything. But now it's got me like feeling a lot more wary about like sample clearance. I'm like, okay, let's not do that, because potentially it could like really bite me in the ass. Like, do you mean if like they wanted to push it and it was making money or whatever? So I thought with that one. So Roscoe sent the track over the sample, and Thomas Rickaby, who's also in DKNBA, and anything that I've needed with guitar, he's been like playing the guitar and stuff recently.
Is that him?
Yeah. So I sent him over. I was like, recreate the sample. Just boom, he come back, recreated the sample. And yeah. And then I love
that guitar, man. That really
sick. So he put something on a track called I Saw Utopia Leaving, which is like one of the best songs I've ever written lyrically. So it's called I Saw Utopia Leaving. So YO brackets, capital U brackets, Topia. So as in you or Utopia, depends on looking. And it's all about someone trying to flush drugs out of their system. But the wordplay on it is not like, it's amazing. I'll see if I can, I don't know what it's going to sound like on the phone, but I'll see if I can play his guitar.
Is that on your Spotify though?
It's not out yet. No, it's not out.
Right.
We're getting a sneak preview.
Wow.
But yeah, the guitar he put on this is next level. Like I was just sat there like listening to it when he sent it. I was like blown away.
So Amy, what does Amy say? Amy's just confessed to daytime drinking.
Daytime drinking? What, in lockdown?
That was lockdown one. We literally spent lockdown one in the hot tub in the garden drinking all fucking day.
Amy is Carl's partner, I should say, because that
make the most of it.
Probably should explain that because it might sound quite strange.
She downstairs. If I ask her to bring me a beer, like from here, she brings me a beer. Watch this now.
So Amy's never been to our house here, and yeah, you're invited round for dinner, Amy. That is quite weird that you've never been here, actually. Come to think of it. So yeah, that's all good.
Right.
I'll make you some spinach.
Katie, how do you hang on to all those people without continuing with the same content constantly?
Say that again.
How do you hang on to all those people, I guess, and through social media without continuing with the same content constantly?
I don't know. I think that's one of the reasons why I've kind of laid off. It's like when you're posting stuff for the sake of posting it, and it's like, I don't really like. Do you mean you're asking a question that to get engagement that you don't really want to know the answer to? It's like, what question can I ask people just so they can kind of engage on my post?
Yeah.
And
this is Damien's advice, though, right? So, so like this guy Damien Keys we keep on talking about. I guess he's a kind of, would you say he's a kind of mentor for musicians? Is that the right
guess
word?
so. Yeah. Anyone who's in the group, I'd say definitely a mentor. Do you mean like the access you have to him through the 2 live chats every week, and he's always active in the Facebook group. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so yeah.
Well, I would say check him out. But on this particular topic about how to keep it entertained, he would say just go and have an adventure. So don't go out and create content. Just go and have an adventure and document it.
Yeah.
That's what he would say, right?
Exactly. And it's with that, it just makes so much more sense. It's like, don't create the content for the platform, do the thing, and create the content from the thing you did. And it's like the whole thing of like maximizing your time. Like if you're shooting a music video, how many other videos can you shoot that day as well? Do you know what I mean? It's
which is bloody difficult in lockdown, right? To go out and have an adventure. That's why everyone's been struggling, and it's looking like people's bedrooms.
Last year we did all right. We did like, do you mean we managed to do a fair bit, and like this year, like after Christmas, it just like just went bleak. Do you know what I mean? It was just, I haven't like really done it. But my missus has been helping out. We did the school run. So when I did like 3 videos for Hypocritical Freddy. I got someone to do an animation one up north, and the one I did outside the massage parlour in Bristol and Stokes-Cross.
I love that.
we did that after the school run. So we dropped my boy off at school, and then me and my missus went to the massage parlour and like pushed my daughter quickly out of the shot in the pushchair. My missus just got the GoPro, and I just did that inside the massage parlour.
Right.
In the morning.
I'm going to ask this question, right? So Hypocritical Freddy, let's give people a bit of context then. So that was your latest single, right?
That's it, yeah. So Hypocritical Freddy is my latest single, and it's it was actually, that track was inspired by a meme. And the meme was of like people who would sit wanking over porn but wouldn't date a porn star. And it's like, do you mean? And then like just from like seeing that, I was like, oh yeah, cool. It's like, yeah, just rip this verse based on that, about this guy who goes to strip clubs a lot, and then it's her, and then his daughter ends up getting a job there, and they bump into each other at the strip club, and he loses his shit, starts shouting at her, and she just turns around and says, "Fuck you, Dad, you're a fucking hypocrite." Yeah.
Oh man, I was blown away by that concept, and you voice messaged me, right? You said, "Oh, you know, my single's out," and I was like, I whacked it straight on. I was out in my garden. And, it was a sunny day. All my neighbours were out as well. And when those first lyrics hit, man, oh.
Yeah, Freddie's not impartial to a strip club. He's also not impartial to getting his little dick sucked.
Yeah. Oh man, that was interesting.
Like, it's highlighted to me as well since having children, how much the music I listen to has like language in it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, can't play that, and it's yeah. And then my music as well. It's like, because Carvel, he's been in a few of my videos. He was in Gun Hearted. He helped dig my grave on the Shrink's Wet Dream. Yeah. So we dug the grave in my back garden. So I got 2 big vegetable patches that I built out of scaffolding planks in the back garden, and we dug. But this, it was like sort of like, what was it? It must have been like April time, I reckon. March, April last year. So we just went in the back garden and we dug up like the vegetable patch, and I just like got in it, led me it. My mate Chris from the Candy Farm, who does like my better videos, the good ones. I was out there and like, yeah, dug this grave, and then to the long shots we like went out a bit further out into the woods. But yeah, all the close-up shots were done in my back garden in this like grave we dug in my vegetable patch.
You have too much fun, man. But going back to Hypocritical Freddy again, it sort of reminded me of moments from like it can almost be the narrative to a film like one of those English gangster movies like Snatch or something. Yeah. Right? And I love that kind of stuff. I watched Snatch last night, and it was just, I feel like someone can make a film about that song. Yeah, I see where you're going. Someone else always said to me about the Leisure Suit Larry, and I never heard of Leisure Suit Larry before. Apparently there's this game that was big in like before, and it's like they were like, yeah, he looks just like that guy. I was like, oh, interesting. So the guy who made that, he's Model Cat Graphics, and he's based up in Newcastle. So there's another guy from DKMB, Jack Fox, and he had an animated video. So I commented on it. I was like, whoa, this is sick. Like, where'd you get this? And he said his mate done it. And again, like that was like, it's like 200 quid for like a minute and a half video. I haven't seen that video yet.
Whoa! I was like,
I need to see that, man.
Well, I was blown away by the price. Like, because like I remember years ago, like asking about animation, and everyone's like, show me the money. I was like, oh, I can't afford that. But I guess like everything, where the tools become so much more accessible, do you know what I mean? And then there's so many people doing it.
You look at what we paid for the music video for Glimpse, right? Our first single. I don't know if you've seen it.
No, I haven't.
It looks fucking expensive, right? Like it's shot in this place and then it shoots up to space and there's this real astronaut floating around.
Yeah.
On a fucking, looks expensive as shit. Cost us like 130 quid.
Yeah.
This fucking thing. Crazy.
Yeah. It is because the guy who's mine, like the good ones, Chris, from the candy farm. It's the same. It's like my mate, and it's just like it's the same scenario as you. Like, I pay him like the most I pay him is like 300 quid, and then he'll and then I do a third one for free. And then the first bulk of my videos, like the first however many, like I didn't even pay anything. But like with that, it's you then hear these people like saying how they spent like $5,000 on a video. It's like people say you can't get a good video or a truly good video unless you pay this. It's like you can.
Music videos are not consumed the same way as they used to be, right? Like nobody sits down. Like I finished school, sit down watching fucking Kerrang or Scuzz.
Yeah.
Like it's not consumed that way. People like literally see it through little clips and stuff like that. And I think that's what we've realized for the next track and stuff like that. That's what we need to focus on, these little video clips, these like years, and just even if it's 10 seconds, let's just do it.
Yeah. It's wow. It's like when you said then it's also about like cutting the intro and just going boom straight in as quickly as possible because people just intro swipe. But I was saying to some guys earlier actually, like not in music world, I was saying the hardest part is capturing the initial attention. So once you've got the attention and they're locked in, it's like, oh, it's easy. Do you know what I mean? Because like if you're making something that's good that resonates with that person, do you know what I mean? But to get them to actually come and listen in the first place, it's the whole battle.
And it's that 7 listens thing, right? That we always talk about. Someone's got to hear something 7 times before they buy in, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like we're running out of time. So I want to ask you some quick fire questions. I want to know, do you have any health tips for our listeners?
Yes. So look after your mental health and your physical health will follow. So start with the mental, don't start with the physical, because the physical can be very superficial, because you can look at people in beauty magazines and a lot of that superficial. So you look at bodybuilders and they're not actually healthy. They don't follow healthy diets. It's very extreme. And a lot of these people that you see, for a start, a lot of them are airbrushed. But yeah, so I'd say look after your mental health. You then won't compare yourself so much if you've got a stronger mindset to those kind of imagery we're being bombarded with left, right, and center. And then
do you eat organic, mate?
Yeah, as much as possible. Diet, I eat a plant-based diet. I've eaten plant-based for 4 or 5 years, since Carvel was born, pretty much. Yeah, so there's that, and pick something that you enjoy for the physical. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, don't just like go running and keep running if you don't enjoy it, because you won't keep doing it. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's something out there for everyone. So try different things. But yeah, for me, the biggest part, I would say, meditate. Meditate and keep a journal of some sort. I'd say massive. To be fully aware, like, because anxiety is a fucker, man. So if you can like see that coming up in you before it takes control,
100%, man.
That's fucking huge. Like that's been the biggest thing for me, knowing when it's a problem. Like today was like the day I realized like this is a fucking problem. Like I need to stop it now because it's gonna like go to shit otherwise, and I'm gonna fucking break. Like it's knowing that, and like the biggest thing for me, I think, was like the biggest change for me was like recognizing like it's okay to have shit days and it's okay to feel like crap and like okay to have a bad day.
Yeah,
and, like, that was like the biggest thing for me. Like accepting like, you know what, I'm just having a shit day and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like,
here's one for you as well, Carl. When you think you're having a shit day, were you really having a shit day, or were there a few things that day, moments that were shit? Or was every moment in your day shit? And that's something that was really profound when I heard.
It's always those few moments, right? And that's when I know my anxiety's bad, because like a few like little moments will fucking turn to shit and they'll just dwell on me.
Yeah, for sure.
And it is, and like you say, it's the battle of noticing that before it consumes you is it's fucking everything. Because those moments then what can lead to just fucking catastrophe But you know what is beautiful? It's the amount of people now that are openly discussing these things on platforms.
Yeah,
you know
for
what?
sure.
Like we said about this the other day with John and Jimson. We like 5-10 years ago, would you have had like a table of guys sat around a table talking about mental health?
Nah.
On a social media platform for anybody to join.
Fucking
3
grow a
guys
pair,
talking about
son.
mental health. It wouldn't have happened, right?
No.
Yeah, it would be. To me, it's like it's like that sort of like that mentality. It's like, again, it's the confusing. How do I fucking articulate this? Where people get confused of what masculinity is.
Yeah.
Because masculinity is not I have to be the fucking hardest guy. It's not. Being masculine is about leading. And leading, you do not have to, like, I mean, I don't mean like lead, like, I mean just leading by example, and being vulnerable, like being your authentic self. And do you know what I mean? It's that is being masculine, not fucking
one of the hardest things to do, isn't it? In a world where I guess everything's trying to change you to be a certain way, if you can still be yourself with all those kind of outside influences trying to change you, you know?
Yeah, you're right. It's I asked it to Ellie, who was on the podcast, which will be going out next week. And she's wrote a dissertation on feminism and all sorts of stuff. So one of the questions I asked her was what she thought about the pressures for women on career versus motherhood, and how we have equal rights, and how women. And she was like, her personal opinion was like she would drop her career and everything at the hat for motherhood. But she said, because I said it's bad. I mean, it's bad enough for men. You you see it on your Instagram, like, of adverts popping up. Become a property investor. Like, come onto this course which ends in a 7, and you can fucking learn how to do stocks and shares and be successful. And you have to be something, and you've got to be something. It's like, you don't. You don't like, you don't have to. That isn't something like. And so one of my questions to her was, how is it on from a woman's perspective, especially now where a lot of the stuff in the press is where feminism is or equal rights in many places being pushed. How did she feel on that, of the pressures of like pushing women to be career driven, like, rather than the motherhood? What's more important? It was it's interesting.
Someone said, I think last week, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Jordan Peterson, who's quite unpopular actually, but I think he did say something quite interesting, and it's kind of like a lot of people are thinking about why there aren't so many women as men in some of these really powerful, kind of top corporate positions. But one thing I think they said on his podcast was, isn't the question we should be asking, why is there so many men that want to do that?
Yeah, I love listening to Jordan. And it was interesting because I listened to his most recent one with Russell Brand the other day. And I would say my philosophy and outlooks on life are more Russell Brand. Fucking love what Russell Brand's doing at the moment.
Yeah,
I mean, I signed up to Luminary just so I can listen to the full versions of his podcast. It's fucking.
I can listen to him all day, man. He's
did you hear the one with Jordan Peterson?
I did. It might have been that one that I got that from, but yeah, I did listen to that one.
Yeah, and it did, because there was something there which really struck, and like Jordan was like, why? Because like Russell's basically said to him like how much like he admired and he helped him. And Jordan was like, why? He's like, because the whole narrative should be you and your beliefs. You're supposed to not like me. And it is. And I think that's the whole thing at the moment. It's like you get two people from different sort of like outlooks, whether it's left, right, visions or whatever. You put them in a room, as long as they're decent, great people, they will have common ground, more common ground than people think. But this whole division narrative of like, are you this? Are you that? What side are you? And it's like people these days can't have different opinions on different topics. So like, someone could have like something negative happen to them, which means they're like anti-abortion, right? But then like all their other core beliefs are like completely liberal, left-leaning beliefs, but they just might be against that for one thing that happened. But then when they stand up and go, well, actually, I'm anti-abortion, like you got like them like loads of people like, well, you're not like one of us. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's like, you've got to be this thing or pick this tribe. And it's like, I think we're a lot more complex than that to be like, you are this, you are that. There's so many gray areas, and we are, but it's great listening to people like Jordan Peterson, like Russell Brand, even though they are on the different side of the spectrum. But someone did put a comment there about, which I don't think we should know, because someone was talking about mental health, or anxiety.
Yeah, Rock Chick saying about her like partner going on medication as the new job was so stressful.
Yeah.
And then, you know, talking about herself, like having a daughter, going to part-time work and actually probably staying on part-time when her daughter goes back full-time to school.
Yeah. It's I mean, well, it's not easy for everyone. Like some people, like if you've got two people in the home working, it's tough. I mean, I'm lucky enough to be in a position that my missus is pretty much at home all the time, and she like just works like one day a week, but like it is, I mean, it's right, it's the pressure from work, school, like this day and age, and everything's moving so quickly. When we said about people maybe not talking about mental health before, maybe it wasn't so much of a thing back then. Thinking about it now, maybe there wasn't, like so many years ago, maybe before the pressures of success-driven society. And I'm just thinking out loud here, and I'm thinking that after what I've just read, then like maybe there could be that aspect to it. There wasn't as much of it. Maybe now, because of we're all hooked on our phones, we're all hooked on social media. The pressures, like you've got to be something, you've got to do well. It's like my son, he's at school, he's 5, he'll be 6 next week, and they do spelling tests. They sit down there, they grade them. There's no like incognito, like let's see how they're doing. It's like, no, you sit here in a test scenario, and it's like I mean, it's like at that age, it's like very like. Do you mean it's
absolutely,
so
man? Like it's all these things, isn't it? All these professions where, you know, you've got to have sort of succeeded by the time you're 16 to stand a chance of doing X, Y, Z. You've got to have like straight A's to get to medical school by this point. Otherwise, you know, and you can get into that mindset where that's the be all and end all, and you're so young still, really, man.
Yeah, it's just the pressure. It's unneeded pressure. It's do you know what I mean? It's
right, dude. I'm gonna fire another quick fire question across to you. So,
what tangent is this one going to go on?
It's going to go on a tangent. I've got multiple tangents, but I'm going to try and get through these quick now, man. Right. So we're going to do productivity. I want to know if you've got any productivity tips for our listeners.
Tips, right? Okay, so they've been evolving, and I'm still working it out myself. But they have been evolving, and I really do try to be a bit of a calendar ninja. So putting out, like blocking out everything on the computer when I'm supposed to be doing stuff.
Because you get up early, right? Or you did?
I do. Like at the moment, I'm now following my shift pattern at work.
Yeah, for sure.
When I was doing the same shift, because I'd swap, I was into the regular thing of waking up early, and I try to on my days off when I'm not, say, finishing at 1, 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
So that is massive for me. I mean, that though, I would say learn when you're most productive, rather than me say to everyone like just get up early.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone's a night owl, it's so I pick the hour of the day or the few hours of the day where you are most productive, and work then if you can, if that's feasible. So there's that. So like for batching,
man. Yeah.
Like don't make things each day, because it's just like it will destroy your soul. Batch that shit up, man. Do you know what I mean? It's
can happen, man. In so many areas of life, right? You can batch your meals up, do all your meals for the week on a Sunday night. You can do it with songs. You can. Yeah. That's powerful shit. That is, if you can work to it, for sure, man.
Yeah, it is. And I think all these type of things, though, it's like so rather than go on to loads of tips like those, become a calendar ninja. Set allocated times and stick to them. So when I did the daily buyers thing, I'd done 30 minutes, kept that 30 minutes timer, and stick to that. Batch, and then pick the time of day that's best for you, and from that, explore and find the best ways for you. But if you do those 3 things, they're biggies.
Awesome, man. I think it's probably one of the last two.
I missed that whole thing. Do you want to say what those three things were again?
So
no, I'm joking.
Right, okay, man. So I think we're down to the last two. I think we need to cut it off then, and I think we might need to have to do this again because I feel like we could talk for.
I could talk to you for ages, man.
For 2 days. I could do another one of these easy, right? But I just want to ask you about your interest in. Oh, I've got two. I'm going to say, have you got any fashion tips? Just for the randomness.
No. No, I don't.
You've got a look though, man.
I wear mostly I wear my own t-shirts and the hoodies. But yeah, my missus is always like trying to get me into more colors because I'm very black and white.
Fuck, look at you, man.
Yeah. My missus is always saying I should be in a lot more color. So
this is why I did this. So I came from like grey and black t-shirts, and I became really aware of it. I don't wear anything else. This is like an outward effort to do what you're saying.
Yeah, it's because it's like what's it say? Steve Jobs, did he only used to like wear the same turtleneck every day? He had like multiple because he didn't want to have the choice. So here you go, here's a productivity for you from Steve Jobs. Only wear the same outfit every day. So you take the time out to choose it. Man, you must be so busy. Like if you have to take that out of your day, like I really do not have time to choose what to wear. I wear the same every day. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's like next level.
I love that, man. I love that kind of tip. But I like your baseball caps, man. I feel like in the future you're gonna have your own baseball cap brand.
Yeah, I had one done with the beard logo on. The hat wasn't. The design of the hat was like a 5-panel, but it was like a bit low quality. So I would do because the merch, when I have done merch, it's done really well. And I'm not on Teespring or any of these. I don't really like the mass production of things.
Yeah.
It's it's not very ethical. I'm trying to be as ethical as I can, but then two as well, it's just like having this thing, it doesn't mean anything. Where if you get like a batch of like a small number of something and you dish them out, it adds that sort of like artiness to it and people want them. So yeah, the quality of the t-shirts and the hats going into the future will be more than anything, I think.
Okay, man. Amy says Hugh needs them. I think she's saying I need the fashion tips. Yeah. And she's probably right there, man.
No comment. No comment.
Buy one of my t-shirts.
Yeah. I have one. Let's finish on this, man. So I want to know your views about the universe.
Ooh. So how long have you got?
I want to know where do you think the universe came from? And where do you think it's going to end up?
Right. So I like to think, right? My way of thinking at the moment is I like to think that God, not as in like the Christian man in the sky God as in like the consciousness that we are the universe witnessing itself, that whole thing. So I think I actually think from what they say now, it's more likely a simulation, but I think it's some form of consciousness witnessing itself. So I don't think the Big Bang is necessarily correct.
Okay, man. What about where do you think it's going? Do you think the universe is going to expand forever into the ether, or do you think there's going to be some kind of
I guess if you don't think of the Big Bang, like you don't think of it expanding. Like
that's a good point, Carl.
Well, science is like saying it is moving apart.
Yeah.
Like from the pictures they have, and it's really interesting to talk about these subjects because it's like we don't really fucking know, do we? Like even like the greatest minds, even the greatest minds that are working on it are still they're making a more educated me who've got no qualification
Yeah,
for whoever
no,
he
that's
says.
true, man.
But at the same time, they still can't prove it. It's like the whole thing of like gravity. We still can't explain gravity. Well, they can explain, but they can't. Do you know what I mean? So, and well, Hugh, you'll know more than me. You're brainy as fuck. You're a scientist, but
yeah, no, I know where you're going, man. Dark matter and all that.
yeah. So I again with like it's like what is there as well, because it's like we can only see so much with our eyes, and what the tools we have now can see. So it means we can use infrared, we can use other things. So what else is there in it? Like, is there multiverses? Is it all in? Do you mean it's yeah? So I don't know. I think we will make a lot more discoveries of multiple layers of consciousness and time. Especially, I'm really interested in the whole psychedelic thing at the moment.
Yeah.
Of what that like. Is there something that is locked in our minds when people are doing it? Because the people go into the same places, they're seeing the same things.
Yeah.
Is there something there? Or is this in the human mind? Or are we actually going somewhere else? Like,
are we unlocking some kind of extra plane or dimension?
Yeah, which is I find absolutely fascinating.
It's the same as sleep. This sleep stuff. What's it called? I forgot the name of it. Amy,
paralysis.
You are
paralysis.
Sleep dreaming.
Yes. So I suffer like massively sleep paralysis, and like I know when it's gonna happen, right? Like I can like go to bed and I'll be like, it's gonna happen tonight. And I'll be lying there and it'll be fucking, I can't move, and I know she's there, and I can feel her on top of me, breathing in my ear, this woman, and she's like, every time she's like, I fucking found you, I found you in my ear. And I know it's a dream. I know the science behind it, but millions of people are having exactly the same shit, man. Then they're seeing the same fucking thing, and they're like having the same like buzzing in their ear. Fucking horrible.
Well, you've got the whole lucid dreaming thing as well, aren't you? Where they say like the people that actually practice it, and they've got it down to an art of like, you can go there and you can leave your body and have these out of body experiences. So it's like that point where you're in between falling asleep and not going to sleep, and it's I guess it's on the same sort of realms as the psychedelics and what you experience with your sleep paralysis. It's all these kind of things. It's like, I
just had shivers down my spine when you were talking about that. Every time you mention that, I can't even imagine what it's like to go through that.
Mate, honestly, like the worst one, and I did a video on it. Was like, I was lying in bed and like I knew something was happening. I was like, and I just didn't register because it hadn't happened for so long. And then I thought like Amy was like next to me, and then all of a sudden it just clicked, and I was like, fuck that, like I can feel Amy touching my hand. That's somebody else on top of me. And I could feel the pressure coming on my chest, and I was like, closing my eyes, and I was like, fuck. And I knew in my head I was going, this is just a dream, but like there's just that part of you that's going, nope. And I can feel her fucking breathing in my ear.
That's not. So
it's fucking horrible.
Is it always the same voice or the same person?
Always the same woman. And like if I ever move house and like it stops, like it's happened like 3 times, and I move house all the time, and like months later she'll be like whispering in my ear like, I found you. It's fucking horrible.
You know, when you said other people have this,
yeah,
do they have the same woman saying the same things?
Mostly like there's a woman, there's like different beings, but like there's a film called, it's something called maybe a sleep paralysis, and it's a documentary about it. And I remember watching it, and this guy was explaining the same thing. He's like, this buzzing in his ear. And like, I got halfway through it, and I was like, can't fucking watch it anymore.
So Amy's saying she's seen it, and she's saying it's this exact same woman for loads of people.
Yeah.
That makes it even more creepy. So that, again, that plays the same narrative as when people are seeing the machine elves on DMT or whatever, and they're seeing the same entities, they're seeing the light beings, and people coming back and they're seeing the same thing. So if you're saying you're seeing the same thing in your dreams and stuff, again, I think that just proves there's more to the collective consciousness. Whether we are going somewhere or there are other things, it definitely proves as a collective of humans that we were connected in more ways than.
It's interesting, man, because Amy's saying that on the documentary they described it the same way, but it's interesting. Is this woman like a manifestation of an internet meme? So like is it someone started talking about this woman, so then other people who are susceptible to it started seeing it because, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know. I've had it since I was a kid, like before like internet and exist shit. Like it's literally
the same woman as well.
Yeah, it's followed me around since I was like a fucking child.
Shit.
So like Amy knows. She's like, sometimes I see you. She's like, you're twitching and shit like that. And I'm like, and in my head, I'm trying to call out to ask her to help me, and she thinks I'm just having a nightmare. And I'm like literally trying to scream like, help me, help me, help me, and I can't open my mouth because my whole body's paralyzed. And I can't fucking do it.
Dad Bod said Carl's a pimp. He's got ladies in different dimensions.
Yeah. Do you know? I was watching a thing the other day, and there was someone talking about the smoking the toad, the 5-DMT. And he said when he done it, like how he went to like the pure bliss of the white light of like consciousness, and was just like listening to it. And it's like because I know that like they're talking a lot about like the early Christianity and like how all these religions and all these things were all formed on some sort of psychedelic ritual. And I think it's fascinating, like what people have found and discovered from these from all this. And it's yeah, I think collectively as humans we've it's something to go back to.
I'm trying to find the name of the documentary to watch. Like people should definitely watch it.
Yeah, man, I'd definitely love to see it.
It's called.
It'll freak me out though.
It's
like,
called The Nightmare from 2015.
The Nightmare.
The Nightmare from 2015.
Is it on Netflix?
I think it might be. Yeah, it's a documentary. But the part that got me was when this guy was like explaining. He was like, I know when it's gonna happen because I get this buzzing in my head. And as soon as I watched that, I was like, fuck. Like I get the same thing. Like I'll say to Amy, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get nightmares tonight. Like because I know it's gonna happen. And like I'll try to stay up for as long.
Did it happen? Did it happen after watching that?
No, not straight away. Like maybe months later.
Yeah.
But like it been happening since like I was a child.
Right, guys, I'm gonna move on because I feel like if we don't, I'm gonna need to do a seance on Instagram just to say
the power of Christ compels you.
I feel like our Instagram account might become like sort of, what would it be, like a sort of virus, or you know, might become haunted. Can someone's Instagram account become haunted?
I posted a video about it. And then a woman found the video on our Facebook, and she kept messaging asking me if I want to like have exorcisms done and shit.
Wow.
Like, oh, that freaked me out, man. I feel like we're gonna have to get the Instagram account exercised.
Digital sage.
Digital. It could happen. It could happen. Right. So this last question is to both of you. I feel like we should end it here. I want to know, to you both, do you believe in extraterrestrial intelligence?
Yes.
Yes.
Like,
I am.
Like it for me. We were talking about this last night. For me, it is weird. It'd be stranger for there not to be, right? Like how big the fucking universe is, and we're the only ones. Like that's fucking more terrifying to me. So it makes no sense in my head. Like for us to be the only ones, I can't fathom that. Like we're the only beings and species out there. Like
yeah, I am. The other recently, like it's someone explained Fermi's paradox. So Fermi's paradox about just us being the only ones in the universe and why there's no one else. And his explanation on it is like a species will only colonize outwards so much before they then colonize inwards. So a species will become so advanced. The reason you probably haven't found it is because once a species becomes so advanced, they don't have the need to go and colonize planets and colonize places because they're so like on another level of thinking. They then start to colonize inwards, and then they lose need for their body, that they don't actually live in like a physical realm because they're so advanced that they're just like things that like maybe we can't even comprehend as humans. But like, yeah, they just like, they're not part of like the physical world anymore because they're so like even what they're talking about now and like sci-fi about uploading your consciousness, ditching your body and uploading your consciousness, like that kind of thing. Like if you got that advanced, be like I don't need my body, just like holding me back. Do you know what I mean? So I think there's that could possibly like, because the whole thing with Michio Kaku, where he talks about civilizations destroying themselves before they get so where he explains us as a type 0 civilization,
And the Drake equation, right?
The Kardashev scale.
Yeah,
so
okay.
There's the Kardashev scale, and this guy Kardashev, he formed it so it's like type 0, type 1, type 2, type 3. So type 0 is us, like where we live on a planet and we live off fossil fuels and plants. And he says like where we are is like we're at the top end of type 0. And like type 0 to type 1 is like, are we going to wipe ourselves out? Are we going to make the transition to type 1? And I think type 1 is then you start harnessing like the solar energy and and then type 2 is you then start harnessing from like galaxies, and like you can then control suns themselves and
the Dyson spheres, right?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's it's interesting. Kardashev scale is cool. Kardashev scale. My song "We're Just Children" was completely inspired by that Michio Kaku.
Okay.
The thing where he's talking about the Kardashev scale.
Which song was that, mate?
"We're Just Children."
Right, man. I'm gonna look that up. Yeah. I feel like at this point we should draw this to a close, but I think we've got ideas for new live streams. We can do extraterrestrial intelligence. We can do sleep paralysis. We can do fashion. We can get like a fashion advisor on to give me some tips. We can't do fashion, but someone could give me tips on it, right? There must be someone out there who can save me. So yeah, I think what I want to say is I want to say thank you to Jimson for coming on and being an absolute legend, like we knew he was.
Yeah,
that was absolutely awesome. I want to say thank you to everyone who joined as well.
Yeah,
we really appreciate it. We love the banter that we've been having, and we're loving having you involved in this mad kind of journey that we're on to who knows.
My pleasure, man, and we'll have to do it in person at some point.
Yeah, absolutely, man. 100%. Absolutely. So have a good night, everyone.
If you are ever down here, come on the podcast. Come on the podcast if you're ever down here.
Yeah, damn right, man.
Like come in person or whatever. Yeah, spend the day down here. Come on, it'd be yeah. But yeah, thanks for having me. And yeah.
Pleasure, man. Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. Bye, everyone.
See you later.